There's a quiet flaw in how most people have been taught to manifest, a subtle distortion that has kept entire generations looping through endless cycles of waiting, journaling, visualizing, and hoping, only to discover that months, even years later, the shift they long for still hasn't arrived. And the strange thing is, it's not because manifestation fails. It's because the way they're practicing it was never designed for speed. Hidden inside the mainstream narrative of manifestation is a beautifully packaged deception, one that sounds like truth. That if you just think about your desire enough, visualize it vividly enough, repeat it faithfully enough, then eventually, reality will bend itself to your will. It feels logical, empowering even. But beneath that logic hides a quiet trap, a mental program that subtly wires your nervous system to experience delay, effort, and distance. That unspoken program says, "What I want is not here yet. I must do something to get it." And in that single belief, you step out of the quantum truth. Because the instant you label your desire as not here, as something that must still arrive, unfold, or be earned, you collapse into a version of reality where it isn't yet real. You solidify the illusion of the future, the illusion of the gap between you and it. And in that gap, you vibrate at the frequency of absence. That's why manifestation so often feels slow or blocked. It's not that reality is fighting you. It's that you're feeding energy to the version of yourself who's still waiting, still believing that effort and time must bridge the distance between what is and what could be. But the quantum field doesn't move through time. It moves through coherence. And coherence doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from aligning deeper. Every ounce of effort whispers, "This isn't mine yet." Every future-focused visualization teaches your body to anticipate lack in the present. This is where the illusion becomes spiritualized. Even the most loving teachings unknowingly reinforce the delay. Trust divine timing. Be patient. It's coming. But in the language of the quantum, time is not a delivery system. It's a mirror. It reflects back the frequency you are transmitting right now. Not your vision boards, not your affirmations, but your present signal. And if your signal is saturated with desire, anticipation, or longing, then what materializes is more of the same. More reasons to wait, more desires unfulfilled. This is the heart of the distortion. You were never meant to chase after your reality. You were always meant to collapse it. Because collapsing reality is not a process that happens later. It's something that unfolds only in the present. The truth is, manifestation was never meant to be a method or a ritual. It was meant to be a remembering, an act of vibrational precision, a level of energetic clarity so stable, so unwavering, that the universe must instantly mirror it. When your internal frequency becomes identical to the timeline you desire, the field doesn't have a choice. It reflects it back. That isn't mysticism, it's physics in motion. Yet most people never reach that level of coherence, not because they're incapable, but because they're trapped inside the cycle of becoming, the endless grind of self-improvement, the constant chase for alignment, the hidden belief that only more effort will earn them transformation. Every time they manifest from that energy, they tune themselves to a timeline of almost ready. Almost there, almost enough. But the field doesn't translate almost. It mirrors embodiment. And here's the secret most manifestation teachings will never tell you, because it dismantles the need for nearly all of them. Once you truly grasp how the quantum field functions, you realize there is nothing to attract. You are not a magnet pulling things toward you. You are a frequency tuner locking into realities that already exist. And when your tuning is precise, reality doesn't arrive, it aligns, instantly. Alignment is faster than time. This is why manifestation feels slow when misunderstood and instantaneous when embodied. The difference isn't how long you've been doing the work, but how consistently you're transmitting the signal of the version of you that already has it. Most people keep trying to become magnetic, not realizing they already are. The real question is, what frequency are you stabilizing? If you stabilize lack, life mirrors need. If you stabilize effort, you attract more struggle. But if you stabilize embodiment, the feedback loop becomes immediate. Coherence meets coherence. And here's the radical truth. You don't have to become more powerful to manifest faster. You simply have to stop feeding energy to the self who still believes it takes time. Because time isn't the distance between intention and outcome. It's the measurement of how long your vibration contradicts your desire. Once that contradiction collapses, so does delay. Reality bends, so the question shifts from, how do I manifest what I want, to why am I still believing I need to wait? When that belief dissolves, acceleration happens naturally, not because you're forcing it, but because reality no longer has resistance to push against. You stop making it happen and start being the version where it already has, and that is faster than thought. We've been conditioned to see reality as something external, something unfolding outside of us, governed by fixed rules and linear time. But quantum physics, when understood through consciousness rather than equations, reveals something profoundly different and deeply empowering. Reality does not unfold, it collapses. And it collapses in direct response to the observer, you. Not the version of you who is hoping, wishing, or scripting, but the one broadcasting, right now, a signal so congruent, so coherent, with a specific possibility that the field is forced to reorganize around it. This is the quantum shortcut, the one that bypasses every linear model of manifestation because it erases the process entirely. It doesn't move through time. It overrides time. It collapses distance. It transforms potential into form, not through striving but through vibrational authority. The world you experience isn't being built slowly. It is being selected, instantly, endlessly, based on your vibration in every moment. And here's the piece most people never realize. The field doesn't pause, doesn't wait, doesn't prepare. It collapses according to your state of being right now. In quantum terms, observation isn't about looking, it's about being. This is why timelines feel so fluid, so unstable to those who don't understand them. You're not a traveler moving through time, you're the conductor, orchestrating it. Every emotion, belief, and microsignal your body emits is choosing between infinite probabilities and collapsing them into a single expression, your present moment. Yet most continue to treat reality as something rigid, fixed, and sequential. They say, I'm working toward it, or it's on its way, without realizing that those very words reinforce the version of self who doesn't yet have it. And by observing that version day after day, they keep locking it in. You're not waiting for reality to catch up. Reality is waiting for your frequency to stabilize. The instant it does, the shortcut activates because nothing in the field is distant. Every possibility exists as overlapping waveforms, ready to be collapsed by coherent observation. The cleaner your signal, the faster the collapse. And this isn't poetic metaphor, it's quantum mechanics. In the double-slit experiment, electrons behave differently depending on whether they're observed. Unobserved, they exist in a superposition of infinite potential states. But once observed, they choose. They become form. And that form doesn't respond only to measurement, but to expectation. What you expect becomes what you get. This is why fear manifests so effectively, because fear is focused, repetitive, and emotionally charged. It floods the field with certainty. This is my reality. And so, the field complies, collapsing timelines of delay, danger, and disappointment. Not as punishment, but as precision. The universe isn't testing you, it's reflecting you, with exact mathematical accuracy. You are not manifesting outcomes, you're manifesting certainty. The quantum field responds not to wishful desire, but to energetic dominance. Whatever frequency is most stable, most repeated, most emotionally anchored, that is what becomes your world. This is the real shortcut. But it cannot be controlled by mind alone, because the moment you try to manipulate the field with thought, you fragment your signal. You speak one intention while vibrating another, and the field, ever loyal to coherence, collapses what you are, not what you say. To use this shortcut, you must become the observer who doesn't look for proof but looks from knowing. This is the line between hopeful projection and aligned vision. Hope asks when. Alignment knows it's already done. That knowing generates gravitational collapse. The wave becomes particle, the potential becomes form, the imagined becomes memory. This is why quantum manifestation operates outside time. It doesn't wait, it mirrors. If it doesn't feel instant yet, it's not because the universe is slow. It's because your signal is unstable. Your job isn't to force the field, It's to stabilize your frequency so completely that no alternate timeline can exist. Reality shortcuts time not by rewarding effort, but by obeying coherence. And coherence isn't achieved by thinking yourself into a higher state. It's achieved by feeling it, embodying it, breathing it until your body believes it's true. Until your actions, words, and energy align so seamlessly that waiting no longer makes sense. Because when you stop waiting, time stops delaying. And in that moment, you don't move toward your future. You collapse into it. If thoughts alone created reality, your life would already match your vision board. You've imagined, affirmed, and visualized your dreams 1,000 times. And still, for many, the changes arrive slow, incomplete, inconsistent. Not because you're failing, but because you were misinformed about what truly collapses reality. It isn't thought, it's the frequency beneath the thought. The quantum field doesn't understand words, affirmations, or mantras. It speaks only in vibration. And vibration is driven by emotion, not surface-level feelings, but the dominant, emotional tone running beneath your awareness all day, every day. That tone is your transmission. The field responds to your state, not your statements. You can script abundance each morning, but if the rest of your day hums with quiet anxiety, the universe will faithfully mirror anxiety. You can visualize love every morning, but if your nervous system still braces for abandonment, the field will echo that vibration perfectly. This isn't punishment, it's precision. The quantum field operates with flawless accuracy, reflecting not what you ask for, but what you are. And what you are moment to moment is emotional. This is why transformation accelerates when you feel it first. Emotion is the carrier wave, the energetic voltage that imprints the field with your reality. Thoughts may aim the direction, but emotion delivers the signal. No emotional charge means no frequency. No frequency means no collapse. So the key isn't to think harder, it's to feel clearer. Because the body doesn't wait for external proof. It responds immediately to internal command. Emotion is the most potent command you can issue to the universe. That's why a single, authentic moment of gratitude can shift reality faster than weeks of affirmations. Why one breath taken in full trust can open doors that hours of effort never could. Emotion is the language of collapse. But here's what almost everyone misses. Emotion isn't merely a reaction, it's a choice. It's not something that happens after your desire appears. It's the vibration that brings it into existence, not as a performance or trick, but as a declaration. The signature frequency of the version of you who already lives what you're calling in. That version doesn't just think differently, they feel differently. Their nervous system is calm, their breath steady, their tone grounded, their presence stable. Not because their world shaped their state, but because they chose the state first and the world followed. This is the hidden mechanism of speed. Manifestation slows down only when your emotion depends on outcome. When you say, "I'll feel abundant once the money comes," or "I'll feel loved when the partner arrives," that's emotional causality flipped backward. In the quantum model, emotion precedes evidence. The signal comes first and collapse follows. So the real question isn't, "What do I want?" It's, "What emotion belongs to that reality?" And, "Am I willing to generate it now unconditionally?" This doesn't mean pretending or forcing positivity. It means practicing emotional coherence. It means breathing in rhythm with trust, moving your body like someone who already belongs in their vision, speaking as if it's already real, not out of delusion, but out of surrendered certainty. Because surrender isn't weakness, it's power. In the absence of emotional resistance, the field can finally deliver. That's why people who've never studied manifestation sometimes manifest with ease. They feel safe, relaxed, receptive. Their nervous systems are congruent, their signals clean. They're not trying to manifest, they're being. And being, when emotionally coherent, is creation in its fastest form. But speed in this context isn't intensity, it's stability. You don't need to radiate joy every second. You only need to return to the emotion of your desired timeline more often than you return to fear. Each return strengthens your signal. Each repetition instructs your cells. retrains your subconscious, tunes your vibration, until finally the emotional state stabilizes. It becomes your baseline. And once that happens, the field mirrors it automatically. New opportunities, new synchronicities, new material reflections of your internal coherence. And in that moment, you realize it was never about doing more. It was always about feeling differently, first, faster, deeper. Because emotion bypasses logic, rewires neural pathways, and bridges the heart and mind into perfect coherence. And coherence, not concentration, is what makes manifestation instantaneous. So if you crave speed, abandon the checklist of methods, the endless how and when. Instead, ask the only question that matters: how fully can I feel it now? Because the instant your emotion matches the memory of your desired future, the field no longer knows the difference. And when the field can't tell the difference, reality collapses instantly. Most people treat their bodies like passengers in the manifestation process, silent witnesses to the mind's desires. But in truth, the body isn't passive. It's the loudest signal in the field, the transmitter, the antenna, the proof of coherence, or the evidence of its absence. Until your body believes what your mind envisions, your frequency remains fragmented, too noisy for the field to obey. This is why so many do everything right: the journaling, the affirmations, the visualizations, and still feel stuck. Because beneath all those rituals, their nervous system is still telling the same old story. Their shoulders still carry hesitation. Their breath still repeats fear. Their voice still trembles with unworthiness. And the quantum field listens not to words but to embodiment, because the field responds to what you are, not what you wish. Your timeline, the version of reality you long to experience, isn't something you chase. It's something you step into vibrationally, by becoming the version of yourself who already lives there. And that version doesn't exist as a thought. It lives in your pulse, your spine, your chemistry. It's a full-body broadcast. When that broadcast becomes clean, the shift happens with shocking speed. Faster than reasoning, faster than planning, faster than doubt can interfere. But embodiment is not acting or pretending. It's not fake it till you make it. It's feel it until it becomes real. Not out there, but in here, in your breath, in your movement, in the subtle ways you carry your presence. The moment your body starts behaving as if the future is already here, the field begins to collapse that version into form. This isn't wishful thinking, it's entrainment. In physics, when two oscillating systems interact, the one with the stronger frequency synchronizes the weaker one. This is exactly what happens when you embody your desired timeline. You become the dominant vibration, and reality reorganizes itself around your signal. But here's the trap. Most people are waiting for permission. They want to feel successful only after the business succeeds, to feel loved only once someone chooses them, to feel free only when their circumstances change. And so their bodies remain loyal to the past, their timelines anchored in lack, their fields reflecting the familiar instead of the possible. The shift begins when you reverse that sequence. Feel it first and let reality follow. This is not delusion, it's instruction. You are teaching the field with every signal you send. When you relax into peace before proof arrives, you collapse into a reality where peace is unconditional. When you open your chest and breathe as if everything is working for you, the field echoes, "This is already true." When you move with certainty, you dissolve uncertainty. When you act from joy, you erase the waiting room of when. Embodiment ends performance. It ends hoping. It begins vibrational integrity. Because when your actions and your emotions finally stop contradicting each other, reality bends at astonishing speed. You no longer chase outcomes, you radiate them. The self that was always trying begins to dissolve, and in its place emerges space, pure, creative, coherent space. That space doesn't live in the mind. It lives in the body. It's in how you wake, how you breathe, how you walk into rooms, how you say yes without flinching, how you hold yourself, not with arrogance, but with quiet, cellular certainty. Because you're no longer manifesting the timeline, you're inhabiting it, and with every breath your body stays in that state. Your field stabilizes, your magnetism amplifies, the delay evaporates, and the illusion of distance between your inner and outer worlds collapses into instantaneous reflection.